Hi, Gustav. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I was having some struggle with my audio here in my phone, but now I think I will hear you.
Yes, it seems okay now. Thank you.
Great to hear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tack så mycket for giving us time for a question and Q&A on the 8th Uşak International Short Film Festival. We're honored to have your movie, and it's also a thrill for us to have the Asian premiere, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really exciting. Your movie is generally about art, and it raises questions about what is art, what is not. Can we wake maybe people up with art, and maybe technology's place in this contemporary world with art and the audience. But maybe we'll talk about these a bit later. But for a start, after saying this, that your movie is about art, you are an artist yourself. So your motivation is something I'm really curious about, because it comes from the real place. So what was your motivation for doing this movie?
I was directing it and writing it together with my brother David. And we started writing this script. This is actually our second script we have written in our life. So we started writing it in the spring of 2015. And our intention was to make a film that has an important role in the discussion about art. So the intention was to put an artist and his intention in centrum of collaborations with techniques and how the society has moved forward this day. So our intention was to discuss art and what is art, like you were saying before we get into this discussion. But our intention was to talk about art and what is it or not, because it's for us, I think the discussion about what is art or not has been on the top have been the most important topic since, say, beginning of the 1900s with Marcel Duchamp. When he put out Pissoir so I think that was the important.
Okay, but you especially because because there's this conceptual art happening. Performance art is in the central of the backbone of the script. So do you especially have something you want to say about conceptual art happenings, performance art? So you also mentioned Chris Burden and etc. So do you especially has a criticism or a love for performance art?
I think I have both of a hate and love-hate to the contemporary modern performance art. And I think it's beginning with my fascination for Joseph Beuys, the German artist, and how he invested in new concepts about what is art. I remember one of my favorite example of his art is he was going to USA, and his first meeting with the USA was with a wolf in a studio, and he spent 3 days with the wolf in the studio as a
captive wolf. A captive wolf?
Sorry? A
captive wolf in a studio?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Yeah. Or it was, and I also have a big fascination to Marina Abramovic, even if I'm not maybe the biggest fan of her work. And so for me and my brother, our fascination for performance art and contemporary art was the key in how we want to develop this film. So we have when we do the research about the subject, I have studied art at the university, so I have a little knowledge about the topic, and we're doing a very huge research and see how, because the performance art, I can talk about many hours about it, but it's a so very fascinated part of the art scene, and so many situation or artwork that is pretty controversial. So we want to talk about the controversy and what is art.
Okay. Well, I actually really, I don't have hate relationship so much with performance art because I don't know enough. So because I am not from cinema, I am a biologist and a writer actually. I write poetry, but that's the that's the top whatever art I do. So I don't know enough. I'm not knowledge enough, but I really do think I find it powerful, especially to make people understand something, because we get accustomed to deaths, to people's problems and so many things, and also this news make it like that, because we're used to now every day we can turn on TV and news who were killed, bombs and everything, and it makes us numb. And I feel performance art can crack that numbness. So I have an initial love for it, I think, but the character I really didn't like because he was so arrogant, and I don't like arrogant artists. I think his arrogance, like he says to his fans, I knew you wouldn't understand. He looks down even Chris Burden because, oh, just being shot in the arm in the shoot performance, oh, it's not art. Depression, oh, it's just, you know, reality, something. And his contradictions, for example, in the end, he quickly says, I don't want to end this pathetically, this is not art, when he's in the cross. So it really shows this kind of people. Some people who, when they're arrogant, they look down on people and they think they know a lot. And then they think, they also contradict themselves so much. So I don't know why you chose to make the character like that, or is it only me that had a cold distance with him? Although he's an artist and he's I didn't associate myself with him because of his arrogance. And I have one more thing to add with this. He is a little bit, also, I really want to know if you intended this, but let me say why I think like that, because there is only 2 scenes. He's reduced to talk. We don't see his artwork. We don't see any other time anything about him. We just, and our talk, sometimes we can talk nonsense, and this man, maybe I don't want to do unfair to him, because I actually feel I didn't get to see him, but maybe this is what you intended. Did you intend to make this character a little bit not lovable, so that maybe the distance will help us think about some of the things he says? Is that what you intended?
We want to make a pretty complex character that is not so easy to love. So that was our intention. And for us, the leading character is the friend Anthony. And but we want to create that contradiction in a character to make it much more excited and adventure for the audience to see. So we always want to make character with different layers, and that have both nice and pretty not so nice personalities. And the artist Torasidis is, like you say, a pretty arrogant person, and that's something we think was the key, because why he wanted to do it. And then in the end, when we are pretty close to the end, it changed a little bit. And that is most because the work doesn't, I spoil a little, work completely out. So the work wasn't perfect in the end. So that's why we want to create a little bit of a excuse.
Okay, I thought maybe you're also criticizing arrogant artists, because sometimes, you know, he's like isolated in a little town in this nice house and everything. And then he wants to connect still. He's wondering how many people is going to watch. So these kind of things we see in some artists. They isolate themselves from the people, and then they also want to wake the people as if they're God. You know, I'm going to wake you up like I'm the great artist. So it is good that in that sense, maybe because we can't fully associate maybe with the character. Maybe it's a good thing. So it was maybe a good choice. So continue, please.
And of course, and we have some ideas based on the traditional male ego and how the narcissism can be pretty clear in some cases. If you read, say, other artist biographies written by other persons, you see they were probably not so nice people. In Sweden, we have one of the biggest authors of all time, Strindberg. Very good writer, very, very fantastic. But he was not a person.
So I had a problem. Sorry, Gustav. I had a problem with my internet. Can you repeat? Yeah. There was my internet. Unfortunately, is not that good. Yeah. Can you repeat from Strindberg? Strindberg. Can you tell us again?
Yeah. In Sweden, we have one of our biggest authors is Strindberg, and he has written a lot of very, very good books. And the thing was, he wasn't a so nice person by himself, if you read other sources and other books. So I think sometimes many of the greatest artists isn't so nice person.
Yeah, actually, it's also another topic that we agree, but unfortunately, sometimes the general society don't know it. We praise art and science. I'm a scientist, and there's arrogant people also in science, a lot.
Of course,
and
I can
general
see that.
Public, sometimes we always praise art and science as so high levels of human act. So sometimes when they hear somebody got Nobel Prize or whatever, they just so much only praise these people. So it's good that we would sometimes from within these genres or science or art, I mean genres, what I'm trying to say is we should sometimes reveal the reality, because it's not a good thing. They will only get praise, and we should learn that. And also this biggest, one of the nicest brain work is to think that the work is different from the producer. It's a good thing to think on this topic from early on. Some work can be magnificent, and we should think them as maybe the kid of the producer, whoever produced it. Like they're different entities, different existence, or else things can get sometimes messed up. You know,
of course.
If the person is bad, then are we going to consider his art bad and everything? But these are very, very, very good brainstorming questions. So it's good that your movie is one of such an example that would make us also, not just people who are not artists, but artists themselves can talk about. So I'm going to come from here on. We talked about the character. So I wonder, did you have Jean-Marc Barr in your but you said you started script quite earlier. When did you think of him to have him involved? How did you reach him? And because he's the big blue guy, because I said I'm a biologist and I'm into marine a lot. And what did he like about the project? So when did you think about him as the role? How did you reach him, and why did he say yes?
Oh, I will see if I can.
Or you just can't pass any question I ask, by the way.
No. I love to see if I am able to answer it. I think we begin. Me and my brother David, we started writing this script 2015. I was 19 and my brother was 16, and we have some idea. We want to discuss the art scene and contemporary art and put it in a context about digital art, of course. And then it take 2.5 years, because we always want to have a script perfect before we go any progress. So we put the script, put it away, and doing another projects, and then we decide maybe we can go for the project right now, and then we started to write it again and see it, and then we decide who is able to play this leading character. And I think it was a very coincidence. The Big Blue was playing on the television, and we think about Sean Mark at that based on that, and we decided to contact his representative, and we sent the agency an email, and after that say, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, we got an email by Sean Mark that he really likes the scripts and want to talk about it, and we have a meeting with him. He like a Zoom meeting. He was in France in a very nice apartment, and me and my brother was in my brother's boy room. And it was a very nice, and when he saw our face that we was so young, he started to laugh, and then we discussed the project, and then we was in contact for 2 years before we come to the conclusion to shoot the film. And it was maybe it was because we have some other project we work with, and of course we need to get the finance completed. So it was missing some finance because the film went much more expensive than we thought from the beginning.
Okay, all right. So it's so good that he get involved, because in the end, some fame is another interesting topic within art. It's sometimes I really don't like it. That's why I sometimes like festival films when I don't have any prejudice about any actor, so good or bad. So it frees me, and then it's nicer to watch. But sometimes it's also good to have these actors that are big actors, loved by many, and as a way to maybe tell other stories and break some of the habits. Some people wouldn't maybe go and get some festival films, and maybe it's not in the habits. Short films are not in the cinemas and stuff. But if we have big people, sometimes, so it's really nice that they accept these roles. In your movie, the movie's name is Torasidis' last masterpiece, but you didn't show any work of artist in the movie. So we only actually see the last one as the first and only. And we picture from the computers, it's nature, landscape, and the sea and everything. What was your intention by not showing any work? He only has a brush in his hand. I hope I didn't miss any scene. We just see him with a brush. There's a wall hanging, there's a painting, but we don't know if it is his. We are not sure. So we don't see any artwork of him. So what did you plan with this, not showing any artwork, and just did you want to then really this cross and then his last masterpieces? Start seeing his artwork from his last, and maybe then we'll project ourselves backwards or something.
Exactly. Our intention was to create so the audience only have one artwork to referee. And Torasidis is a performance artist. So sometimes performance artists' work is based on the context and the situation they are in. So if you take some works that has been made by Catalan, for example, in Copenhagen, it was just there. So sometimes performance work is just one time and one context. So that was our intention with Torasidis, that he has done a couple of works a lot of works before, and they were all based on the situation they was in. And of course, Anthony is the other leading character. Talks about, he is an art critic, so he has something, another perspective of art. And in the end of the film, they discuss another exhibition Torasidis had in Amsterdam. And we don't see it, but we can maybe see it in our head.
Yeah, it was actually some of that scene when they discussed it. I have to tell you this. It was in it was one of the scenes that we collect their talk together. There's humor, there's this, they're really good friends, and that humor and general light landscape and white shirt of the main character, it was actually diluting the heavy topics in the movie, that death, the cross, Jesus Christ, whatever, all this that come to your head. And there was this serene little town. It actually hushed down the dark, maybe heavy things. So the humor was one of the things. Sorry, the goats.
The goats also. Yeah, we was very, very happy with the goats. Okay. They have an important key.
Yeah,
in the landscape.
I remember that scene. Yeah, but after saying this, because that would be my later question, but I changed the order, so I'm going back to the dark topics. Suicide, although I don't think it's a very dark topic, but I really respect people who suicide, but I also know that we must be careful. Maybe something can be resolved and they wouldn't want to die, but I know that there are times and stuff, sometimes you understand, and people doesn't have to prolong the pain just to, you know, not do a wrong thing, not make mother unhappy. In the end, there is this person maybe in pain and wants to end it. Like Jim Morrison, maybe I don't know if you know, he says that why people scare death, because death is a friend. It ends our pain.
Who say that?
Jim Morrison, The Doors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Just one. Someone called me. I'm back. I'm doing it from my phone because
we have
my
only
computer
maybe
has so bad. Yeah.
Don't worry, we have maybe 5 more minutes. I will let you free
Perfect.
And show. So what I was trying to say is,
I take your time.
Jim Morrison. So I really respect that. Pain is not something we need to suffer forever. And there's already people who are poor and stuff. See, we can solve their problem, but some other kind of situations like clinical and recurrent depression and etc. It's not necessarily an easy thing to end. So I'm trying to say that I really respect people who would decide to suicide. I think it's a human right. Again, we need to be careful, but it is a human right. And there's so much also in religion. There is so much mistreatment of people who suicide. They're banned, condemned. Sometimes they don't even dig their grave because, I find it horrible. No God I would believe in that wouldn't understand somebody who committed suicide. So I don't believe in such gods or nothing. So your movie does talk a little bit about suicide too, maybe not the main topic, and but because of you, I learned, thank you so much. I didn't know about Durkheim, right?
Really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice. I'll have a look at that later more. So it's something clashes with the performance art, but can be also on its own, like the suicide topic. Did you want to say anything about the suicide?
Yeah. Yeah, I can. In Sweden, my home country, there are some topics that are forbidden to talk about, and we don't have a debate about suicide. And I think suicide is, as you say, a legal right. And I think maybe some other countries like Switzerland have a more humanic approach to suicide. And our intention with the film, besides to talking about art scene, is to make a discussion about suicide as an offentlig debate, because some subjects in Sweden we just turn it down. We don't want to talk about it. It's a very Swedish controversial topics. So our intention was to discuss suicide and make any progress in the debate, actually. And it's like many of famous authors have writing about suicide. It's like Albert Camus says about people make suicide of two reasons. I think there are a lot of more, but he says one of them is they think life is meaningless. And the other one is they die for something they believe in. So it can be a different context. And if we just look at our history, our culture or something, there is a lot of suicide in the culture. And I think it's a good topic to discuss.
And many artists commit suicide. Many artists
Yeah.
commit suicide in the end.
Yeah.
So it's something to really think about. Maybe this intensely being in so much emotions and creations and everything, it's not always a shiny, bright sky something. So it is, so it's an important thing. I think suicide topic is something we really should talk. But as I said, it's also, when I say we should talk, I really also feel that maybe some of them we can prevent, some types, like poverty related types, like why should people die because they're poor? They should not poor. They should not be poor. So my last question will be, I want to go back to this original, the art. I want to ask, do you think people really care about some artworks? Do you think does art can wake them up? Or like how also maybe the technology affect artists' connection with people? Something like this. You don't have to answer my questions, but just some general things about contemporary art, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. There is stimuli of everything, everyday million things. And how can one artwork really mean a lot and shake us? Do you believe in it? Do you think it's happening?
I think in some ways it's very hard to change the world with the art. I think because as an artist you have an intention with art, and then the work is introduced by a public, an audience, and the audience is like the hermeneutic method development by Martin Heidegger and Gadamer. They say when you expose to artwork, you see the materia and you have your own subjectivity, your own positionality in how you see the work. And then in the interaction between the artist's work and your own personality, maybe there is something that can be the holistic circle. So maybe after the artist's perspective and your own perspective and the work, you can see something, a message or something, but it's very, very hard. And sometimes you can create something and the audience don't understand what you want to say. And sometimes the audience make the art, like I painting a puppy, and someone sees it as a metaphor from something. So of course you can't never know what the audience want to see in artwork, but I think the art can be a way to a discussion about it. So because sometimes it's much more easy to make a picture of something than just write it, because based on the context and how the society is so digital today, we see much more images than we read text. So I think that digital as a way to transport art, public debate and everything, and that's just how Instagram and YouTube have development for the last years. So right now we don't need a television show, we don't need movies from the beginning, because everything is on YouTube, and every person with just a camera and an account can create their own material. So in some ways it's a much more egalitarian perspective, because in this digital era we can both be the producer and the consumption at the same time. And the bad with that is we are drawing in so many messages and so many pictures, and soon we don't know who we want to listen to. And sometimes we are so crazy that we only listen to our own demons.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. And yeah, I agree with what you say. I actually, when I'm listening to you, I remembered, I think Gauguin's one sentence about art. I love it so much. I want to say it's not like a question, but I just remembered it. Maybe you know it. Art is either plagiarism or revolution. I really like it is. So art is a good topic to discuss because it's all question marks. It's not period. It's like some things, it always evolves, art talks and everything. And art is such a topic. It really enriches our souls, and I wish more people engage in these talks, not just artists, but because what we do, yes, it needs an audience. So then there should be more interaction with the audience and all of us. Yeah, it was really nice talking to you. Time flew by, and I think I don't have much time because I don't want to tire you. But thanks again for sending your...
No. I have time.
Yeah, but I'm thinking maybe it is a little bit long. I already, but maybe next time, next festival, you'll send us another movie and we'll have a chance to talk again. And you're always welcome.
I will definitely do it.
Yeah, okay. Thanks so much. Also, hi to all your team, and especially your brother. Thanks for sending your movie to Uşak Short Film Festival, and we're thrilled to make it reach more people. And please send our love to Jean-Marc Barr if you're still in touch. We are still. I will write him a mail today. Okay, all right.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, tack så mycket, and have a nice day. Bye, Gustav.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.